Hello everyone, welcome to Free Range Art Farm. My name is Thomas. Today I'm going to talk about the equipment that we bought to begin our beekeeping adventures. First, I think I might talk a little bit about the space I'm in and why we're called Free Range Art Farm. This building is kind of our storage building, and it's got furniture pieces. It's got a pile of boxes here. Inside those boxes is a bunch of pottery. We do pottery, we do painted furniture, painted grandfather clocks, a lot of high chairs that we use. These are things more like accent pieces. This is our kiln for firing the pottery. Dark. We've got some of our terrible pottery that we will just use for target practice one day. Couple of pieces of canvas art. This is kind of our storage building for works in progress and for firing our pottery. So that's the art farm part of it. The things we're going to produce here, now we're just started. We only moved in a year and a half ago. We've only got ducks, which we're going to sell the eggs. And we are getting honeybees, which is kind of the point of this video. We're going to sell the honey, sell the duck eggs, but in addition we're going to grow a number of things that we're going to post-process with some type of an artistic eye, if you will. My wife is a true artist. I'm more the labor, the craftsman. I do make pottery, but she does the really pretty stuff, and she does the 2D work and the furniture. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what Free Range Art Farm really is. We used to joke when we first were doing ceramics that all of our ceramics were free range, non-GMO, organic, all that stuff, gluten-free, just because it was kind of funny and stupid. So we kind of stuck with the free range art theme. Our ducks are free range. Those are the only animals we're going to have in the short term. Everything else we have will still be free range, I suppose. But anyway, let's get on to the point of the video. What I want to talk about today is what we bought to be beginner beekeepers. We had no beekeeping supplies prior to this, and we purchased 2 hives, and we have 2 packages of bees coming in a couple weeks, and hopefully I'll do a video of actually installing those packages and how that process goes as a true amateur. I've never kept bees. Up until this point in my life, I've always cowered like a little, I don't want to say little girl because that's insulting to girls. It's worse than that. See a bee and just go running like they're going to kill me. So this will be an interesting experience, but we're looking forward to it. So we bought a couple of hives. And I'll try to go through how much we spent, or how much it could cost you, rather, to get started into beekeeping with 2 hives and 2 people working. So we have 2 bee suits and the protective suits. So the hives, we bought flow hives, which if you've done any research, the flow hives are kind of a controversial thing for some reason. But we thought we'd give them a try, because then if we can extract the honey really easily from the hive here without getting all the honey extracting equipment with the spinner and all the muck and grossness that goes along with normal honey extraction, then we're going to go for that, especially as beginner beekeepers. It keeps everything hopefully easy. If it doesn't work, we'll switch over to traditional, these are Langstroth hives, but we'll turn over to traditional honey extraction. So these were a lot more expensive than you would normally pay for a hive. These were $750 each. So that was $1,500 we spent on hives, when we could probably have gotten just standard hives, the same makeup, for $200. But then you'd have to add the expense of extracting the honey with the spinner and all that stuff, and then you risk hurting bees. I won't get into that. That's up to you. If you want to go with flow hive, if you have extra money, spend it. If you don't. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get any money from them. So I have I have no opinion. You'll see as I experience this whether or not I think it's worth it and it was working for us here. We're in Northern Virginia, just to give you an idea of the climate, the zone we're in. So if you're doing beekeeping in California, my experiences might not apply. But anyway, Northern Virginia, out in the country, a very distant suburb of DC. So what did we buy? So we bought 2 hives. We bought 2 jackets with hoods. We bought gloves. We didn't get the full bee suit. I don't remember why, really. We chose to just get the jackets and hoods. We figured we could wear our jeans. We also bought some leggings to kind of strap down our pants so bees don't go flying up into our pant leg. And we've got some goat skin gloves. So there's the bee suits. Actually, I'll turn you around so you can see. Okay, here we go. Let me get with the sun a little bit behind us. We've got a couple of bee suits. Got one for my wife, one for myself. Got the 2 different gloves. Got the leggings here. We also bought one little sweat headband because it can get hot in those suits. So for myself or my wife has a little bit longer hair than I do. So we've got that. This is a separate hive that we bought, or separate box we bought to augment the flow hive. We bought frames for them. These frames do not have any foundation or drawn comb on them. For this, it comes with a little thing, and you'd stick this in there, and the bees would draw the comb down from that. But we also decided to buy foundation to help the bees build out their comb in a very more organized way. We bought the black foundation because we thought it would just be a little bit easier to see the eggs when the queen is laying, because they're so tiny, little tiny grains of rice. So we thought it'd be a little bit easier to see on the black. So we bought a bunch of foundation. We bought a couple of feeders to feed the bees whenever they need it. Bought a couple of hive tools, a little brush in case we have to brush bees off of a frame. I bought a package of little beehive entrance things because I'm going to drill a hole in the top part of my one of the top boxes above the queen excluder for when the bees start doing honey, so they can come and go through there instead of going through the queen excluder because they can hurt their little wings. You need a smoker. We have a couple of spray bottles. These are kind of an industrial strength spray bottle that'll hold the sugar water. They won't clog up. So these are a little bit more durable. I bought some of this honeybee healthy stuff that will add in to the sugar water. It helps keep it, apparently it helps keep it from going bad sooner. It adds a little bit of essential oils for the bees. People say it works. We'll see. The thing with beekeeping is there's 1,000 different opinions on what works and what doesn't. I assume it's because the climates are so much different everywhere you go, so everybody has different experiences. So how much did we spend? Well, the bee suits, feeders, we got 2 extra boxes with frames, the smoker, spray bottle, the hive tools. I'm looking at the table here. All of the protective gear, the 2 extra boxes. We ordered 2 packages of bees, and that was about $700. So that basic stuff was about $700. I think I spent another $150 on some of the foundation, the Honeybee Healthy, 1 or 2 other things that I can't remember off the top of my head now. And then we spent $1,500 on the Flow Hive boxes, but that could have dropped down to about $200. So I think all told, if you get all new stuff and you try to shop around a little bit, you should be able to get into beekeeping, including bees, for about $1,000. I've been told you shouldn't expect to get honey your first year of beekeeping, your first season, because the bees just have to establish themselves. So I don't know. We'll see if we'll get any honey this year. I'm not expecting any. So let's take you through the scenario. You've spent $1,000. Your first year, you probably have to spend money on sugar syrup solution, maybe the pollen substitute, things like that. And then you have to hope that your bees will overwinter well and survive. And then into the second season, hopefully you'll get some honey. Now, depending on where you live, you might get a really good honey flow. These flow hives, once the frames get full, you should be able to get about 3.5 gallons out of each super. So we've got 2 of them, so in theory we could get as much as 7 gallons once they're all full. Let's say they only fill them up once in a year. However much you can sell 7 gallons for. But if you lose bees, then you have to buy more bees and take your time and go on. So we're not really in this to make money. We just want to help the bee population, keep that going. It'd be nice if we get some honey out of it. It'd be even better if we make some money out of it. So that's where we are with that. So if you're getting into beehive, or if you want to get into beekeeping, be ready to shell out at least $1,000, if not more. Of course, you can find somebody who's getting out of beekeeping. Maybe they're getting rid of all their stuff. But if you're going to buy all new, that's what you can expect to spend. I think that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. Hit me up with comments and questions. I can't answer much because I'm a new beekeeper, but I appreciate your feedback. If there's things that you think I've forgotten to get, please let me know. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to do my best for the bees. I will mention I bought one extra thing that I'm going to try out. It's in a box right now. It's called Better Bee. I'm reading the box. I'll show you the box. Here we go. It's called Better Bee, and it's a synthetic wax drawn honeycomb. And it was pretty expensive, and I'm drawing a blank about how much. I think it was $100 I spent on 10 frames of this synthetic wax. The bees don't know any different, but you have to make sure that it stays down in the brood boxes, because it's not, even though it's food grade, you don't want to mix it in with your honey supers. So we're going to give that a try. I'm going to put probably, I don't know if I'm going to put 5 frames in each of my 2 hives, or if I might do just 3 in each. So when we install the bees, there's already 3 drawn out frames of wax, so they can just get after it. As soon as they free the queen from her little cage, she can start laying right away, hopefully. I'm hoping that'll give them a little bit of a head start, instead of them having to draw out comb and worry about all that. So she's got a place to just start laying as soon as possible. So we're going to give that a try and see how that goes. Again, I'm in Northern Virginia. It gets pretty hot here during the summer. So we'll see how that fares. What I might end up doing is, once they've drawn out a few of the other frames, is kind of moving these to the outer edges, and then eventually just remove them from the whole hive, and just it'll all be natural bee comb. So I think that's my plan. So all told, I've probably got nearly $3,000 invested in the bees to begin with, because I also had an expense to set up where the apiary is going to be. I cleared out an area out in my back field, and I put in 5 tons of pea gravel and leveled that all out, and weed matting, and got some places for the beehives to rest. It's a much bigger area than 2 hives need, but I wanted to put it together. So that was another $500 for pea gravel and my labor and whatever. So yeah, I think that's about it. You can get into beekeeping for $1,000 for all new stuff. You can get into beekeeping for $3,000 or $4,000. You can get into it probably a little bit cheaper if you know somebody who's getting out of it, I suppose. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you stick with us for this journey. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.